Hi, today's video is inspired by one of my subscribers and he would like to know whether it is possible to do a SSH login test from Excel. So let me pull up the email where he formulated the query. In this email, we can see he's looking for a way and do a SSH login test. So what we're going to do today is just that. We will be using Excel and a tool to perform an SSH login test. By the end of this video, we will have developed somewhat like this. We have here the first 5 columns where we input the data, the IP address, the status, and when it was last accessed, username and password for this particular device. And we also have a button, SSH Login Test, where the macro is attached. So without further ado, let's get started. In order to do an SSH test using Excel, I'm going to be using plink tool. Plink is synonymous to PuTTY. Okay, so what is the difference between PuTTY and plink? PuTTY has a graphical user interface from where we can start the SSH session. Its primary use is for an interactive remote management. It's user-friendly and it's accessible via graphical user interface, like I said. On the other hand, plink is a command line tool which is synonymous to PuTTY. Plink is used for scripting and automation. Of course, this requires familiarity with the command line interface, and the configuration is done via command line interface or PuTTY sessions. So my approach to this query is going to be having an Excel file where we have the server information and plink installed in the system, which will then access the server using the SSH protocol and return connection successful in the status column. If there is no connection, then it returns missing connection failed. So let's first see PuTTY and plink in action. For this, I've already downloaded PuTTY from this website, the link for which you'll find below, and I can just input the IP address or the host name, which then actually opens a PuTTY session. Yep, so I've logged into this system and I'm able to interactively use this session. As you can see, PuTTY has a configuration or a UI where I can do all my configuration, whereas plink is a command line tool. From the link below in the description and save it to the folder C, temp and plink here. Okay, open command prompt from this path, and now we can use the plink tool to initiate an SSH connection. So when we say plink, now just a plink, and it's going to be an SSH session to the host 172.27.15 and 99. Sorry, it's 115 and 99, and I'll give the username with flag L. Username is best demo. It's asking for the password, of course. Yeah, access is granted. That means I can initiate the scripting activities from here on. When you use command prompt, then we can also log into the system by pressing just enter. It's almost the same or similar to the PuTTY session which we saw previously. So first press Ctrl C to exit the session and come back to the command prompt. And now we are in the command prompt, we're in the host system now. So if you don't want to actively enter the session, then all we have to do is add a batch flag. How do we do that? We just do plink, do an SSH session, IP address, username, and batch. And of course, we can give a command here, which is needed for later. Okay, probably I might have to enter my password. Here we can see connection successful is written, and this is how we test an SSH session using plink. Now, how are we going to achieve this in Excel? This is going to be the next section of this video. For this, I'm going to pull up a new workbook, Excel workbook, and we can start here. So the first column is going to be the host name or IP address. The second column is going to be the state. Yeah, the second column is going to be the status. The third column is when it was last seen or last reachable at. Fourth column is username. Fifth column is the password. A quick tip, the password cell, if you don't want to be seen, then you can format the cell, right click, format cell, go to number and custom and type here 3 times semicolon and 2 times star. Of course, if you type here, still it will be shown, or at least initially, here it will be shown in the formula section. But when it's displayed overall, it's going to be shown as star. Now let's insert a button. Okay, I see here my developer tools are not active. If that's the case, go to File, Options, and go to Customize Ribbon and select the developer here. Just click OK. Now the developer tool is there. Now we can insert our control here. Let's edit the text, define it as SSH Login test. Let's save this file before proceeding further. Just go save the file, and I will save it in my desktop in the trash folder. Okay, you need to save this file as macro enabled because we're going to be writing macro. Let's start entering the server details. 72, 27, 115, 99. Status will be automatically filled. Rust will also be automatically filled. We need the username. Username was dash demo. So this is going to be my initial start. And now let's start writing the macro function. Right click, macro function. No. Right click, assign macro, and then just go new. Okay, the macro can be anything. I've gone with the default name here. You can redefine this however you like. And let me just do some boilerplate work here. So all I've done here is define some variables which we will be using later, and I've also defined the path where plink is stored or located. This is important location, but for this demo I'll be using c temp plink. All I'm going to do now is to loop through the IP addresses for this. The first thing I'm going to retrieve is my host name, username, and password, like so. And I should definitely make sure all three of them are filled, otherwise I get an error. Else, we ask the user to fill in the missing details, like so. So once we have the host name, username, and password filled, all we have to do is to send a shell command. It's a bit tricky because Excel by itself cannot access the output. For this, we are going to store the output temporarily in a location and then retrieve that output and delete the file after retrieving the output. In order to do that, I'm going to define a temporary location like so. So it's going to get me the temporary path. Just give me a result file where I'll be storing the output. All I'm going to do now, okay, now I'm going to define my command string. So that's going to so we are opening a command with command prompt, going to the plink path, in the SSH session like we did previously in the terminal, host IP address, username, password, and also the batch flag. We will be storing this output in the temp file now. All we have to do now is to execute this command and evaluate the output like so. What I've done here is create a shell object and run the command with the window minimized and wait for a bit. Now we know if plink has a communication, connection successful will be returned in the text file. We have to match the string in this text file. I'm going to check for successful in this result string. So please mind me this should be result, not result code. If not, if the result has successful within it, then the connection is successful, else the connection has failed. You just give the status out. When the connection is successful, the status will be connection successful with the font color green, and if it's failed, then it's going to be red font color. Now let's save this file. Let's move outside the VBA code, maximize the screen. Now let's see the script in action. Connection failed. Although I know for sure the connection exists. Coming back quickly here to the script, I'm going to just change the location of the temporary file to just the plink underscore IP address text. Let's check again. Okay, it's still showing connection failed. Let me just add in a message box here. So looking back at this code again, I'm compiling a result variable, but this result variable does not have the text. What I'm going to do is just rename this as return code as some variant. Doesn't matter for now. This is just a temporary variable. What we need is the result, and the result is a string or variable, which is the content of the temp file. So all I need to do is result and read the temp file by creating a file object, open the text file and read it all. Now let's go back to our Excel file and check whether it's working. Where could be the problem? Ha! There we see. There is just only one L here. Need to put 2L. Let's check again. Now we get a connection successful, which is stored in the temp file now. Yeah, voila, we did it. So now I can just remove this message box and test again. Perfect. Now let me just quickly change another IP address. There we go. This is an error happening now. We got a return code of 1, which means it was not successful. So we need to put it in there. All right. Now we tested the connection successful message. During the development of the solution, I faced another tricky situation. And the situation was that the server was not known to the host machine. Normally, when you do an SSH connection, our fingerprint is stored in the registry. That you can see in the registry editor. And you can see in the registry editor under current user, software, PuTTY, and SSH host keys. So my machine, this 172 which ends at 99, is already stored in the cache. That's why my connection was able to be successful. So let me quickly remove it and show you using PuTTY. After removing this SSH key, I'm opening the PuTTY terminal again, and let's just check again right about it. Yeah, the host key is not known for this machine, so that's why it's just asking whether to save it or not. The server is not recognized by this host machine. So what we're going to do is we are going to accept it. Once we accept it, we can normally log in, and I just do a refresh here. I can see this host key has been added again. It is essential for the server machine to be already in this SSH cache. How do I handle this now? So how do I handle the situation? I've already developed the solution, and you can find in this blog article, which I've explained under complete code section. The complete code will bypass the host key verification. Point of view of security, this is not advisable and it is not suggested, or it is not recommended also. The SSH key verification process should always be an interactive one, meaning using PuTTY sessions. This code will just bypass the security considerations, so please be aware. I hope you learned something today. I see you in the next. Bye bye.